Do that dance, do that dance. Brought to you by Elektro Dance Academy in Mesa, Arizona. We're live. The House of Banuelos.
Hello.
Yeah,
We have
it's been a while.
Sal and Phoenix here.
Yes, and Nico.
Wow, 3 Bs.
Three
Banuelos
Bs.
brothers.
Yes, sir.
It's crazy.
It's been a while,
We're
yeah.
missing Kyle and George, but we'll get them on the next one.
So
It's insane.
Phoenix has been doing stuff. He's been gone for a while. He's living in Hawaii right now. In LA, doing things with the bots, doing some big things, and then you guys got a new member on the bots as well, right?
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah.
The world know.
Yeah, I've been traveling here and there, just kind of picking things back up after COVID, and we're just kind of getting back into the swing of things, putting out more material, getting ready for some live shows again soon, which is really exciting.
And you guys have a new member too in the Elektro Botz. You have
Yes, yeah, we have
AJ,
AJ. Yeah, AJ Headache Pack is the new Elektro Botz,
Nice.
the
That's
fourth
the
member of
name.
the Elektro Botz.
Pack.
Pack.
That's
yeah.
right.
how's
I like
that process of going with working with Dom, who we all love,
All right.
but he decided to move on to he's moving to Florida, right, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that dynamic switch like going from working with the three of you guys who've been working forever, and then
Right.
with AJ, who's also awesome, but I'm
Yeah.
sure the dynamic was weird at first, or was it?
We got pretty lucky that the dynamic for us wasn't a huge shift. I mean, it was obviously a huge shift not working with Dom consistently anymore because we had been together for I think about 8 years doing it. But it was a really good. I think adding AJ to the group was probably the best decision we could have made. That shift considered because of AJ already working with us on Outlaws. So we've had him on technically in the family or as part of the crew for a couple years now. And his style was obviously always so similar to ours. We looked up to him a lot when we were younger. And his dynamics as far as a dancer is concerned what fit so perfectly for Elektro Botz that it made the choice of who to put on the crew very obvious. And I think it also made the transition really smooth as well because although it is different, we've had a vibe and a bond kind of created with AJ over the last couple years as well.
Yeah.
So it was good and easy to kind of just shift that into bots mode.
It was like friends first, dance second.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it should be, right?
And I love giving my friends opportunities
Heck
more
yeah.
than
Yeah.
people I don't.
I always try that for if I get the chance to give anyone an opportunity, I'm always looking for family first and then friends. And
Right.
because
Yeah.
Why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So I think the big question that you're probably getting a lot. Headache is not a replacement, right? He's an add-on.
Yeah.
Right? Is that the
basically, we consider having 4 bots now, but Dom is not necessarily active at the moment.
Oh, so if he decides.
Yeah, so we
that's
never
cool.
decided that we wanted to replace him. We always wanted the door open for Dom and wanted him to do whatever he felt
That's
most
not
comfortable
like a
with.
Destiny's Child moment.
No, not at all. Yeah,
the third guy looks different.
Yeah. No, we asked him if he wanted to come back at the time, and he said he wanted to take a break a little bit. And we also talked to him about what we wanted to do moving forward. And we knew that we wanted to continue with Bot's brand, and we knew that 3 people is just kind of what we always liked working for. So we also talked to him about AJ and the transition itself, and he was super supportive, super cool with it. Cool. Like there was no ill feelings anywhere. Like awesome. AJ was very conscientious of it as well, and they were talking to each other. We all talked about it, so we felt really good with it because it was a friend and it was not just like going to scout somebody that kind of fit our demographic. Yeah, I think that's why the transition was smooth and we were able to kind of just keep the ball rolling and keep everyone on the same page as well. That's
dope. Yeah. How do you guys shut down each other's bad ideas without hurting each other's feelings?
That's good. Honestly, I feel like it's just a lot of practice, we've been doing it.
Probably know how they were going to react.
Yeah.
See each other all the time.
Right. But the range is easier to gauge after a long time working together. What people are going to be more sensitive to or not. And honestly, I think the advantage that Botz has had is that we started when we were really young, like at teenage.
14, 15.
Yeah. So all of our first foundational years of the crews when we were all teenagers in high school, all had very
Just
separate
friends.
mindsets, you know what I mean, and a lot of growing to do maturity wise, like to
Yeah.
work together as a company. So I think that was probably the biggest blessing, is that we got a lot of that stuff out early. Like in the
Yeah.
first couple years when we were still kids, a lot of that was the figuring out, like how to talk to each other, how to work with each other. So
And Headache's just like so nice, and I feel like he's like, he just kind of goes like he's not one to like argue or say he's like always try to be right, and he kind of just like flows. He fits in with you guys pretty well, right?
Right. Yeah. No, he's a perfect addition to, I would say, any crew, because he's extremely talented and extremely easy to work with, and just a good energy vibe. You know.
And his choreo's dope.
Yeah, he's insane.
And he's nasty.
Yeah.
He's
So,
insane.
but that's the thing too for us. I think that's what made the switch good, is because like he's absolutely monstrous. There was nobody dance wise that we felt was even close to the same like style profile as us, like besides him. But on top of that, I mean, there was obviously a lot of other dancers and friends of ours that we knew would be dope as a possibility in the crew. But we really...
Can you tell who's close? Can you tell us who's close?
we had a couple people that we were talking to. We
Let
didn't
me
really...
guess.
Honestly, we didn't talk to anybody.
Can we do that?
Yeah. You
Okay,
can,
let me guess.
Okay.
Okay, this is what I think.
Yeah,
let's
get one guess. Let me get a guess.
Okay, Slavic. That guy Slavic would have been tight.
Okay.
Oh, I want another one. Americana.
I saw a video where you guys did one with him, and
Yeah.
he did it perfectly, and he fits the height requirement.
Right.
'Cause of the height requirement.
Yeah. We thought about a few different people. We have some good friends of ours that were dope, that definitely looked the part and definitely looked like the skill set that we wanted. So we thought about, we thought about Slavic, we thought about Merrick. We were working a lot with Jake Kodish at the time. We were working a lot with like Matt Stefanina.
What about a girl?
We were looking
No,
at.
never thing.
It's possible, but it didn't come up in our minds. Like there was never a point where like anybody made us think about it.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Most of it was always just kind of like the guys that were around us and the homies.
Just the homies. The
Yeah.
friends.
But yeah, there were a few people that we kind of names that we considered just to think about, what that would look like.
Did you guys ever ask any and get a straight no?
No. We didn't actually ask anybody. We didn't talk to anybody else. We were considering kind of options, and we were looking at it. And then once we like realized, we honestly didn't think about AJ right away. We were thinking about LA. That's
You're
why.
thinking about another white guy.
No.
Canceled.
We were thinking about people that were in LA at the time. So, because we had been dealing with the long distancing for so long,
Yeah.
Dom was in AZ, we were in LA.
So you're used
All
to
the
it.
Outlaws stuff was, 3 different states, and we
So
tried
what do
to
you guys
get
do?
people
So
together.
some of you guys don't know this. So, Headache AJ lives in Hawaii. You
Right.
guys live in LA. So you guys get together like once a month and just for 4 or 5 days, and then just create content
Like
and then just
crazy,
release
is
them
that-
sporadically throughout the
Yeah,
month.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get together like at least once a month, maybe once every other month. And yeah, we just go crazy for as many days as we can afford to be together, and then just
then it's
keep
driving.
dropping stuff as we go.
I would have picked Headache too, just because that just gives you a reason to
I
go to
kinda like
Hawaii all
that.
the time. Like,
And I
come
kind
on
of like
now.
that you guys could like literally work as hard as you can 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Just put out a
Push
bunch.
it out, and then you have a month of content.
Yeah.
And with that month, when you could work on other things.
But
Right.
you guys are also working on
Smart.
your solo stuff, and you and Max do stuff together too, right?
Yeah. I think honestly it helps us just because it makes it all the time is more precious when you are together. You know what I mean?
Aw.
Like when we're more when we're I think if we were together all the time, it would be easier for us to slack sometimes.
Get distracted.
And,
Yeah, so I think
not,
this is
not
like
get work done.
That's the best scenario.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so when we do meet up, it is frustrating that we can't be together for more productivity,
Yeah, yeah.
but it does make the time together more impactful, I think, just because
for sure.
we
Just
don't
gotta
have
cramp
that.
it out.
Yeah.
So if people don't know, like, we all have the same last name because we're all related.
Oh, yeah.
We're
A lot of
cousins.
people
Yeah,
People
that's
don't
funny.
know that because we all, 'cause we
Yeah,
all
I look
alike.
too white.
Look too white. You
I
got your
don't look
mom's
like
side.
you
You're like
guys.
a whole foot taller than us.
Yeah.
That's like,
Yeah, so we started dancing. I started dancing because my brother was dancing, and I'm sure Phoenix started dancing because we were all dancing.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
when Phoenix was like younger, we asked him.
Hawaii.
Yeah, I'm from Hawaii, but we asked him to do to lead the mega crew with us because we all didn't know what we were doing.
Oh, yeah.
high school, or are you still in high school?
I'm not sure at that time. High school. No, I think we were towards the end of high school.
You were like 18 years old, leading a mega crew, like leading kids older than you and your age.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
It was cool. It was honestly really cool. I felt lucky to be in that position, you know, like to have that ability to like be able to teach people and work with people at that age. I felt like looking back on it was super dope that I was given that opportunity. And yeah, it was really awesome. I think it kind of came about really genuinely. I remember like when we were all kind of talking about it, and it was like ideas we threw around. I remember there was like a road trip too where we came back from some job.
It was HHI, wasn't it? Or no, was it NRG?
Yeah, I think it was an NRG trip. And it was the 4 of us in the car. I think it was me, and Max was with us too.
Yeah.
And we were like first kind of throwing around like, yo, we need to do like a mega crew. We need to like have a bigger crew, you know?
Starting that mega crew was
so
tough.
hard.
So hard. Man, we didn't know what we were doing.
No,
you know?
Not at all.
We were all learning together, but like if it wasn't for that,
like,
we wouldn't be doing a lot of the jobs that we're doing now.
Or have a studio, or have
that was kind of the
experience of
definitely taught us how to work with people and what to do and what not to do. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely a growing experience, and like doing jobs like in China, like where we get to choreograph out there, choreograph anywhere, and you're setting pieces on big crews. You're like, you're familiar with it because I did that for like 35 years.
Because it is a different discipline too. Creatively, it's not as easy. Like from our experience, like you guys were mostly 8-man to like 9 was probably the biggest, you know.
It's a whole different monster.
Ours was like 5 and then usually 3 people. So like switching it up and having 40 bodies is like, it is a whole different game of like, you know what I mean? It's not something that just translates.
And not only are you choreographing and then doing formations and setting all that and figuring out practice times and figure out like, but you're coordinating 40 people.
Right.
Wait, I think we had a little bit more than that.
Trying to like,
like
accommodate to everyone and make everyone happy. And of course, you don't make everybody happy, but it's like, you know, it's hard. People don't understand how hard it can be, and
but how like rewarding it is at the end.
That's some of the best things, some of the most rewarding things are the hardest, you know.
Yeah. So. Well, I think it also is like you work really hard for that sense of community, that sense of family that, you know, naturally arises when you work on something together with a huge body of people. Yeah. So it's like that feeling of not just doing it with just your closest homies, but seeing all these people that are on stage like happy, and seeing like after they come off that stage and they performed crazier than they ever did, you know, and seeing these little kids that you knew like a year ago like couldn't dance like that at all. You know what I mean?
Gosh, like it's crazy. Like when I look at Brecken and Aspen, those two specifically, because they've just been here forever since when we started the first mega crew. They were here
like 9.
Now they're like 16, right? And they're just little monsters.
Yeah, and that's super rewarding too over the time, like, because I remember feeling that a lot when we were first getting these kids to competitions and stuff. Yeah. But then there's a whole different level of that when you realize like these kids are like veterans, like season level dancers, like competitors at this point, and you know,
they're
like
warriors, huh?
having any part in that is just an honor to like see that happen, you know, because.
Also being able to provide the feeling of winning, or like getting that medal and getting on that stage.
So like, I want to talk about that too, because we were talking about it at the house a little bit. Yeah. Like the mindset of what like we created as Banuelos fam, the 3 of us actually, because we were all raised in martial arts and stuff. And I've been trying to figure out like maybe it's the way our dads raised us, but like why do we go from winning ABDC to winning Outlaws winning HHI, to the Rise guys winning HHI, and then now we have the trio that won HHI, and we didn't choreograph all those pieces, right? Like we all choreographed our individual stuff, but like you Outlaws choreographed it. Me and Chav didn't do anything. We choreographed ABDCs some parts, and Rise guys choreographed their own section, and everyone's winning. So I'm just I've been really trying to dissect like what is happening,
factor,
what's going on.
Yeah.
So when you guys won, when Outlaws won 2016, 2015, I was like, damn, holy shit, let's go.
It's not like,
but then when the Rise guys won, I was like, what the hell?
Yeah,
like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And it's not like we're giving the choreo to everybody.
Right.
Like it's different generations. The choreo, you know, it changes, it grows, it gets better.
Yeah.
Like everyone has different
their styles and stuff. Yeah.
But like, it's we're still winning. We're still like creating monsters and beasts, and I think
now we have a new generation too of creating monsters.
Yeah, and I tell us it's about the mindset, right?
Yeah.
But what is that? Like, what is it?
Yeah, I think it definitely has to be the mindset, because like we're saying, like, there's so many factors that were different in each of those situations to keep repeating that outcome. Like, all the choreographers are different. It's not like anything was like handed to anyone as far as like material is concerned. What
mindset do you have? What mindset do you have when you're envision like yourself right before HHI comp? Or right before, World of Dance with J-Lo when you did that? What was your mindset?
For curious. HHI made us nuts, bro. HHI was just a different beast. I still think to this day, like, there's been TV competitions and different competitions that we've gone through that wasn't close to how cracked out we were when we were doing HHI. We just knew, honestly, like, we had spent so much time in it that we were like so obsessed. Like, we would get out of rehearsals and then go in our car and we couldn't even get home.
If you guys are listening, our camera went out, but we're still gonna keep going. Audio only, baby.
You said a word that I think has a lot to do with it. I think obsession.
Yeah.
Being obsessed with whatever you do. Like, it's the passion, the dedication, the discipline that you put into any art you do, any craft you do, is the mindset. You know what I mean? And then also with that comes, because you're so passionate about it, because you want it so much, I think hating losing more than you like winning is like a big factor in why.
Yeah.
And what we teach.
I don't know. I just have I do every competition, everything I do is with the chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Yeah, for sure.
I just envision 500 haters.
Yeah.
And I maybe have 1, 2, 3 haters, or maybe 0 haters. Maybe everyone likes me. I don't know. But in my mind, I'm like, everyone fucking wants me to lose. I gotta win.
That's the case though, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
we get haters.
We got haters for sure. Yeah.
Everyone does.
You know what? That's what pushes us.
Yeah.
That's what pushes you, and I think I like that sometimes.
Yeah.
So you're just obsessed with HHI and
Yeah, I think the obsession part for us, it helped us to not fixate on the competition, but the obsession really made us more detail oriented. It made us more specific. It's just like the more obsessed you are, I feel like it raises your standards of what's good and what's powerful. You know what I mean? And that I think is
things
important.
You won't settle for.
Yeah, like when we were in rehearsals, like we were pushing for like not to beat anybody, not to beat a crew. You know what I mean? There wasn't anybody in our minds that was like, oh, we got to beat them. We knew like what our competition was, but we were obsessed with like this performance has to be just nuts. Like
better too.
Right.
Like if you're competing it and you have to compete it 3 times that week, you knew that every single time had to be better than the last one. So you're really just competing against yourself.
Yeah, you know I think that's probably one of the biggest things, because dance is so subjective, you know, like every single person, you line them all up and they can all tell you their different opinion or their preference of something in dance. So I really think it's just the things that win is not a style specific, it's not a trick specific or anything like that. It's I think it's an obsession, it's an attention to detail and cleanliness or energy, like your physical capability in that moment, the muscle memory,
the passion behind it too, right?
That in your mind, like your mind and how you could see it in people's eyes when they're like,
oh my
god,
you know Tom Brady.
Tom,
to my guy Tom Brady. I'm not I like Tom Brady obviously.
Right.
But he says, here's one of his things is like, I want to get to the point where I could look you in the eyes and you could tell me with your eyes that you got my back. That you're ready for this.
Right.
And he's like, and then this is what he does too. A lot of people don't know this, but he'll go to the coach and be like, that guy doesn't got it. He doesn't got the fight. We got to cut him.
Dang.
So he'll cut people.
Wow.
He's got that juice. He's got that power. But he's like, I want you to look me in the eyes.
Yeah.
And just by looking me in the eyes, I could tell that you're ready.
Yeah.
I could tell. I could see the passion.
Right.
And then there's another part right before they're in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. They're down 28-3 in the third quarter, right? Mm-hmm. And he's screaming. He's like, let's go. He's like, do it for honor. Do it for your family. Do it for your last name. Let's go. And you could see this guy's obsessed.
Yeah.
He's obsessed with winning. He's obsessed. He's passionate. He's 43 years old and he's still obsessed, right? And that's why he wins all the time.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's definitely, I don't think there's anybody who is successful at that level that doesn't have a similar mindset or something in that range of the passion and
Mm-hmm.
dedication to the art and the craft. And I think especially for dance being so subjective, it's just about how much you put into it and how obvious that is when it comes out on stage.
Yeah, it's definitely the mindset, because you can have a crew, like going back to dance, you can have a crew come in and win out everything, win first place in the U.S. and the world, and then they come back the next year and like they lose.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because they got.
It's not like, sometimes it's more than the skill level.
Yeah.
Well, when to kill an alligator? Right after he eats, because he's
Satisfied.
full. He's satisfied. That's the only time
true.
you're gonna be able to kill an alligator.
Right.
He's comfortable because they go into a sense of paralyzation.
Yeah.
But right after they eat a big meal, they're almost paralyzed.
Yeah.
And that's when they kill. That's when you could kill an alligator, and that's what happens to champions. A
Right.
lot of great fighters, boxers.
Yeah.
Like for me, from my experience, like after winning ABDC a long time ago, like I was chilling. I was waiting for opportunities. I was like, we won. We have a manager. Email me when we get a gig, bro. I'll be good. And then you get to the point where, going on a tangent here, but you get to the point where we don't need to create anymore, because all these cities and all the people around the world, they want to see our ABDC routines, which we know in the back of our hand, so we don't have to practice. Right? So that hunger gets lost. And somewhere along the way, you're like, look in the mirror, you're like, what the fuck happened? Damn. So you really have to be careful, like you were saying, and you have to, after you win, it's like a whole new journey. It's a whole new mindset. After you win, you're like, fuck, all right, got to do it again. Now I even got to,
especially going back and those types of competitions, it's actually harder. You know what I mean? It's not like it gets harder than it does easier, because you're competing even more against yourself
target
than before.
on your back too.
Because I mean, we got it one year. We're like, they were good, but they were better last year.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's impossible. Like, even if you're better than everybody in the room that day, if you don't beat yourself, they're still not going to give you what you should deserve.
When we competed, they're like, one of the judges came up I don't know, I'm not gonna say who, but one of the judges came up to me. One of the judges came up to us and was like, you guys were good, but I thought you guys did better last year, so I didn't score you guys as high.
Yeah, I've had that too.
You didn't score me on what we did this year compared to the other crews competing. You scored me against ourselves, and they do that without they do.
Some judges are just
it's
judges.
It's like a subconscious. It's like it's hard to it's hard to separate, but I mean they should. That is the legal. Like the
you
point of it.
should compete. Now we're going on the judges tangent.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you have to compete against yourself, right? So when you come back, but the judges shouldn't comment, just not my style. Don't like it, not my style. We've had that one too. But like you said, it's harder to come back because you have to compete against yourself. But you always compete against yourself. You just don't know it until you win, and you're like, fuck, I have to do it even. It's tangible when you win, right? So you see it, it's on paper.
Yeah, well, I think that's an example too, like, like of that mindset and of coming even harder, because like you could practice to beat other crews, and if you've done it before, it's probably easy enough to know that you could make like a 80% that would beat everybody that day, right? But when you're a champion or you're returning or defending your title, it's not about the people that you're competing against that day. It's really about yourself and competing against your old self and your expectations of what they have for you. So I think that's where the obsession part comes in, and that's where it doesn't let you down, because if you're 100%. Still as obsessed on beating yourself, you know what I mean, you're gonna go that much harder to create that. And if you're just thinking about beating other people, you might be like, all right, we could beat someone here. And I just call it. You know what I mean? Like,
that's one of the biggest mistakes is when they start focusing on who's there and who what.
Right.
Because you don't know
sometimes
what they're
that helps
with.
me though. I'm like, this crew's here. Okay, let's go.
But not worrying about their routine.
No,
I don't know. You never know. You know what I mean? You don't know what they're coming with. You just gotta.
I don't care about the routines ever. I just want them to see my face right before I go on the stage. Like, I'm here. Hello, look at me. Like, dog, come on, let's go. It's just being a competitor. That's funny. But this is the best thing about competition and being in that mindset, is that you could apply it to everything in your life. Apply it to everything.
I was gonna talk about, like, a lot of people they'll set goals, and once they reach them, once they get to that, like,
they lose their identity.
They're like, okay, they got what they wanted, and now what? They get satisfied, they get comfortable, and then they lose everything. Or happened
to me.
Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it happened to me, because speaking from experience, like we wrote down we're gonna win ABDC like when I was like 15 years old.
Right.
At 21 years old, still so young. We did that shit, and now I'm like, okay, now what?
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, well, you gotta figure it out. Yeah.
No,
crazy. And it happens to a lot of football players, a lot of Marine, a lot of military. They lose their identity after they,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've been through that a little bit too. You know, HHI was definitely a little bit of that experience for us. But I mean, once you do your circuit as a dance crew, you do your circuit of the TV shows of your era. It's hard after that to think about, okay, like what now? You know what I mean? Like, you know, after we got done we did AGT, we did WAD, we did one more show called Floored. Like we had
I saw that, right? With Liza.
Liza Koshy.
Yeah. The obstacle.
Yeah.
One?
Was that crazy?
It was crazy, dude. Yeah, it was funny. It was super.
We got
funny.
asked to put a crew together for that.
Yeah.
And then Omar was like, "Yeah, the bots are doing it too." I was like, "All right, cool. I wouldn't want to do it."
Yeah. It was fun.
It looked fun.
Fun
though.
little project. Yeah. It was interesting.
So now what then? What's next? You guys are you
Yeah.
guys allowed to
Plans?
say what? I know what you're doing, but
We're not allowed to say necessarily what we're working on right now. We do have one more show that we're working on, another TV show. I could say that. So hopefully that works out. Honestly, we're just going back on these different various like TV programs just to try stuff out, really. We have a lot of ideas for plans that we have down the line for a larger format show. And right now we're using these TV shows to kind of test out pieces of our material, see how they react and how they responded to with large audiences, you know? So we're excited about that. We're excited that we're going to be testing out some new stuff again this time around. And we're just ultimately we're building towards our own show. That's really where we're headed as far as Botz is concerned.
That's awesome.
Like your own TV show?
We're looking to create like a live, like a more like a Vegas show format, like
dope.
something like an hour and a half type of experience that you know can be filled with seats and see it live type of thing. So
is there something in the works right now, or someone talking to you guys?
We have leads. We do have leads, but we still have a lot of development to do for that to be starting. We have. On paper, we have everything laid out, basically. We know exactly what it's going to be, but we're still in the process of producing that show and having it somewhere where we can shop it.
Cool.
So, yeah.
We're thinking like LA, Vegas?
Yeah, I mean...
MGM.
Yeah, wherever we can, man. I mean, honestly, we have ideas. We have some leads for potentially out of the country first.
Oh, that'd be cool. They probably appreciate you guys more out there.
Yeah, that's our theory. So we're not exactly sure.
Foreigners love us.
Always appreciate the art a little bit more.
Yeah. I think Americans desensitized to really cool stuff on all in their media. It's like,
and then just trying to be better than the next.
Right.
Not really appreciating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think our hip hop cultures can still be new to some other countries. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as consistently consumed as it might be here, I think. So I think that's why sometimes they have that little extra appreciation for little artistic
for sure.
endeavors and stuff. But yeah, hopefully eventually Vegas, we'd love to have a residency in a casino and a hotel and just kind of have a show that we can manage and perform if we want to.
We have backup dancers.
Yeah.
Let me know, because I got a lot of dancers here.
And I can bring it back too.
Hey, nice.
Nah, I'm not dancing anymore. Let me know.
Yeah.
We got some peeps.
We're going to try to ideally have a small cast with us in the show, but we're going to probably try to take up as much of that show as we can ourselves.
Yeah,
so we'll see how it goes.
Be like extras.
Yeah,
if you have a TV
like
head,
an ensemble.
If you got TV heads, dog. You put TV heads on.
Hey.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Ideas over here.
I put that shit on someone else.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Sneak peek.
You can make magic happen, like you three with TVs on.
If you got this far into the podcast,
somehow end up on the other side of the stage. Like how'd they do that?
Yeah.
Just TV ads, you can do whatever you want.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we've been looking for that idea for a minute. The little idea of the no face. You know, it's just. It always works so well. I think it's just the mystery of it and just draws people in, you know.
Yeah.
And long run, you know, we don't have to dance.
That's the key. That's the
best
key.
ones did that. You know?
Look, I'm telling you
Learn from
something.
the best,
These dancers need to find something that's gonna give them longevity because dancers can't dance forever. You can't teach forever. So you have to have foundation. You have to have a ground. You have to have something to fall back on. And whether it's like Jabberwocky's route where anyone could wear a mask, whether it's building a business out of it, whether it's a dance clothing line or dance health or dance studio, like you gotta find something. Kendra's doing it. Yeah, they're like if you guys get that show going, that's a good foundation to fall back on, and goes to retirement when you're older, right? Or something.
Yeah, no, I believe that too. I think that even in like right now, like I mean that's for long term, that's something that we're trying to set up. But even right now, I've noticed that the more time that I've spent in art forms that are complementary to dance rather than dance itself has really elevated my craft more. So for me, I spend a lot of time with video and editing, and like for Max, he's like mixing music, and so I think we've started to realize that instead of just looking at dancing, like we're noticing that the more time we spend creating these talents for ourselves and using that for our company or using that for Botz, that has been giving us way more growth than when we were just thinking about what's our next dance routine or what
thinking
piece
about
we're
now,
gonna do next. Right? Yeah. So I try to give that advice to a lot of dancers that I've talked to as well, who are figuring out kind of what path they want to go with it. And I always say that it's like dancing is amazing. It's a great tool, but I wouldn't only focus on it. You know what I mean? I always am looking for something that can complement it and then add to it. You know what I mean? So
whether it's even acting, like being a triple threat or singing, whatever. Like there's so many. There's this girl, Sophia Wiley. She's on High School Musical, the musical. She's from Arizona. She's a little girl. She's a good dancer, and now she's acting. Right? Or like even what's her name from Dance Moms, the most famous, Maddie Ziegler. Jojo Siwa. Like I could keep going on and on. These Cuba Gooding Jr., P. Diddy. Like there's so many who started off with J-Lo, exactly. And like,
Yeah, I think that dance is like it's such a it's a hard art form. I believe it's physically demanding. You know what I mean? It's something
you're an athlete.
Yeah, it's an athletic, creative outlet.
Sometimes the entertainment industry doesn't see how hard it is.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't get the credit you deserve a lot of the times.
Yeah, I think that correlation between all those people that ended up leaving dance but were super successful in these other art forms, I think that must come from the fact that dance is such a hard art form to get good at. Like when it comes to just your physicality, I think it's just like what we were talking about earlier, that mindset, like being a dancer and learning and grinding that ladder into the dance world. I feel like it's such a demanding thing that it really does teach you how to have that attitude and apply that towards other art forms that you encounter. You know what I mean?
Work ethic.
Yeah. That work ethic.
Right.
Some of these guys that you see now that are dancing all over, like they're good.
Yeah.
You so see good. Things like you didn't even like what? You can do that?
Yeah.
Like Julian, we were just watching the Chinchilla too yesterday. He's freaking insane.
Yeah. Shout out Julian.
And Julian de Guzman, right? Yeah. And freaking
Both
Josh
Julians.
All these guys.
All these young
oh my
guys
God.
We were like when we were on the show, they were kids, and now they're up here, they're doing it and they're killing it.
Yeah.
And they're insane, man. Like
right.
It's awesome.
And I think that is also a testament to how hard dancing can be and how much growth is possible in it. A lot of these kids that are killing it right now, it's not like any of these people just started. You know what I mean?
They've been doing
like
it since they're...
even like you look at like Ian, you look at all the people that had like this high level of like a dance acclaim or fame. They were doing it for years and years and years before it really started to bubble into that surface, and I know
overnight.
I know that's the same for all of us as well. You know what I mean? It wasn't like
no,
quickly.
It definitely takes time.
It takes time. It's not an overnight success.
Something you can't just give up on if you really want to do it. Now look at, like you said, Ian is like choreographing for like
Ian Eastwood,
he's choreographing for singers and like guys and going on tour with all these big name artists and stuff, and that's almost top tier for a choreographer now.
Yeah, for sure.
No, definitely.
He's up there.
Yeah, and he was grinding since he was a kid, like literally a kid. And same with Julian. I remember meeting Julian de Guzman when he was like tiny,
iconic boy.
Yeah. Like I remember them. Like he was grinding back then. Like. Even the other Julian Chinchilla, all these people, these homies that we all mentioned, like from childhood, pretty much. Just literally from so small, like just killing it and working really hard.
Little Bell Rock too. B-Boy Bell Rock, all these kids. It's so weird seeing all of them as...
He won So You Think.
He won So You Think
like
You
3
Dance.
years ago.
Yeah.
4 years ago.
I mean, it's the last one I think I saw. Though.
Yeah.
Same. I just saw it. I started watching it because Keto's on it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But, yeah. Well, thanks for coming, Phoenix.
Cool.
Love you, dude.
Love you too.
Love you guys.
Brothers.
House of Banuelos.
House of Banuelos. We'll give a quick shout out before we go out to our sponsors, Hooters. Get some nice chicken breasts. Hold the chicken. I'm kidding. Don't cancel me.
JK,
All right.
JK.
I'm out.
Bye.
JK.